I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. So, look at these two headlines here. Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz takes accountability for his struggles. That, excuse me, that alone is fantastic. That's from ESPN, by the way. Very reliable source. And then the one beside it. Eagles defense pleased to see Carson Wentz taking ownership of bad play. Carson Wentz is finally taking responsibility for his actions. And you know what? Good. Good. Fantastic that he's finally doing that. He is the reason why the Eagles are 3-7-1. Now, there are a lot of problems with the Eagles. They have problems with the coach. They have injuries everywhere. Their front office is questionable, and especially when your $32 million a year franchise quarterback is playing like absolute garbage, there's definite reason that he is going to need to step up and say, hey, I haven't been playing my best. You know, it's not the way we do things around here. You can't go up into press conferences and say, this is how we do things around here. It's not. You can't just do that. If this is the way we do things around here, then let's look at your stats throughout the first 12 weeks of the NFL season. So you 3/4 of the way through the NFL season, and here are your stats. We'll go week by week. And for everyone who is still a fan of Carson Wentz, I'm about to change your mind. I am just flat out about to change your mind. Week 1 against Washington. They lose by 10, 27-17. It's the first game of the year. I mean, it's the first game of the year. You never expect anything to go right on the first game of the year when you complete 57% of your throws and turn the ball over 3 times. I mean, when you do that, that's not going to be bad at all. I mean, you threw 2 touchdowns, but you got sacked 8 times. I mean, you threw 270 yards, but you also threw 2 picks. Like there's good and there's bad to it. You know what I'm saying? There's good and there's bad. So I mean, you had 2 fumbles and you lost 1. So already you're starting the season off on a bad note. Now, I mean, you could turn things around. Let's just wait till next week against the Rams. Wait till next week against the Rams. It'll be fine. They lose by 18. And this week, Carson Wentz has a worse game. I mean, he has a better completion percentage. He completes 60% of his passes, 242 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. His passer rating, this was the worst game he has had all year in terms of passer rating, 56.5. 56.5. It's unbelievable. So already his touchdown to interception ratio is 2-4, and his touchdown to turnover ratio is 2-5. Next week, they tie against Cincinnati. Now, I just want to show you, Carson Wentz has not outplayed a single quarterback this year. Joe Burrow played better than him in this game. 61% of his throws are completed, 1 touchdown to 2 picks, and he fumbles again. He didn't lose it, but he fumbled again. He has thrown 6 picks in 3 games, and he has thrown only 3 touchdowns. He's averaging a 1-2 touchdown to interception ratio. 1-2. Flat embarrassing for a guy who makes $32 million a year. Then, week 4, you got your first win. Let's go, Carson. But wait, I forgot. You played the 49ers practice squad because that was the week where pretty much everybody was hurt. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Bosa, Raheem Mostert, George Kittle, they were all hurt. There was a bunch of other starters who were hurt. So you beat the 49ers B squad and you still only beat them by 1 score. But it was, at the time, your best game of the year. You completed 64% of your throws. Now remember this number, 64%, because Carson Wentz has never reached this number since. This is week 4. This week coming up on Sunday is week 13. Keep in mind, he has never reached this number since. 64% of his throws, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 1 fumble. I mean, good, great, I guess. I mean, you got to win, but you barely beat a 49ers practice squad. So, I mean, we all knew that the 49ers were playing at their championship level. They would definitely murder the Eagles, especially if Carson Wentz is playing like this the whole time. Next week, you face Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is still the only undefeated team in the NFL, and you did give them a run for your money. I'm not gonna take credit away from that. You gave them a run for your money. But if you could have played just a little bit better, you actually could have sneaked out with a win. And here's why you didn't play better. Because you completed only 50% of your throws, 57% to be exact, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and, no fumbles. But you have still not gone a single game this year without throwing a pick. You have 9 picks throughout the first 5 games to only 6 touchdowns. and your touchdown to turnover ratio is 6-10. Through 5 games, you're averaging 1 touchdown and 2 turnovers. Next week, you face Baltimore, another AFC North opponent. And once again, you give them a run for your money. But you play awful. 52% of your throws are completed. I don't care that you didn't throw an interception, which, by the way, congrats. Against that Baltimore secondary, congrats for not throwing a pick. They are ferocious in taking the ball away. You did not throw a pick, but at the same time, 52% of your throws are incomplete. Did you guys know that Carson Wentz leads the league in most off-target throws? Over 20% of his throws are off-target. 20%. Imagine being the 5th receiver that Carson Wentz throws the ball to. You're going to get his 5th pass of the game. Statistically, that ball will be off-target. And if you're the 5th person every time, it's not your fault that you don't make those catches. It's the quarterback's fault because the quarterback has to get the ball there. 23%, to be exact. 23% of his throws are off target. Unbelievable for a guy who makes $32 million a year. Next week, you beat the New York Giants by 1 point. 1 point. Congratulations, my dude. Congratulations. You still only completed 58% of your throws. You still had a pick, and like, what else do I have to say? This statistically, by passer rating, was your best game. It's the only game this year where you had a passer rating over 90. Congratulations. What am I supposed to do here? Like, how am I supposed to give this man praise? You could literally win 6 games in this division and win your division. That deserves no credit at all. 6 wins is a 4th seed in the NFC. Get out of here. This is the worst division in football. We'll get to that in a little bit. And then next week, you face the Dallas Cowboys, and this, in my opinion, his worst game all year. And it's actually his 2nd worst game when it comes to passer rating. And I'll tell you why. The Dallas Cowboy defense, at this point in the year, were on pace to be the worst defense in NFL history when it came to points allowed. And that's a fact. They were on average allowing opponents to score 35 points a game. 35 points per game. 5 touchdowns. That's what the defense was allowing. I mean, you still won the game. The only reason you did win the game was because the Dallas offense was playing with Ben DiNucci, and they couldn't get literally anything going. The defense was ready to play. The defense entered the game, the Cowboy defense, to be exact, entered the entire game, the game, with 3 takeaways all season. They walked away with 7. They had 4 in that game against the Eagles. 2 picks and 2 fumble recoveries. Carson Wentz, season low in completions, season low in attempts, season low in yards, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 55% completion percentage against statistically the worst defense in NFL history. And he deserves praise. By the owner, by the GM, by the coach, by his teammate. He deserves praise. I mean, you got the dub. That's pretty much the only thing good that happened for you guys in that game, because you got the dub. But I'm supposed to give you praise for that? Like, come on. I'm supposed to give you praise for that. Your only 3 wins have been against a Giants team that is rebuilding, a Cowboys team that is completely lost, and a San Francisco team that had 75% of their starters out because of either COVID or injuries. So the 3 wins mean nothing. Right now, they mean nothing. Last 3 weeks, here we go. Week 10, you face New York again. This time you go to New York, and they stomp you. They beat you by 10. Carson Wentz, he may not have a pick, but he also didn't throw a touchdown. He also, for the 5th straight game, that's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th straight game, did not complete over 60% of his throws. In fact, let me be more specific. For 5 straight games, he didn't complete over 58.5% of his throws. The most he had completed at the time was in Week 7 against New York when he completed 58.1%. The league average, for an average quarterback, the league average is about, I'd say, 60 to 61%. That's average. If you get that, that's average. This man is making $32 million a year, dubbed as one of the great generational talents of our era. And these are the stats he's producing. And he is getting praised by members of the media, his teammates, his coach, his GM, his owner. He's not taking responsibility for his bad play until the headlines that I just read at the beginning of the show. It's mind-boggling that someone could even think like that. Okay. And now, week 11, you face Cleveland. And you give them a run for your money once again, but Cleveland's kind of Cleveland's on or off. You know, they'll run the ball at you, but if Baker Mayfield's not having a great, they're on and off. But you finally completed 60% of your throws, Carson. You did it. First time since week 4 that you completed 60% of your throws. He's only done that 4 times this whole year. 4 times this whole year. First time since week 4. But you still managed to throw 2 picks and get sacked 5 times by the Cleveland defense. And then on Monday night against Seattle, 55% of your throws, you go back to your usual self, and you're guaranteed to throw a pick. Carson Wentz stats, his total stats throughout the first 11 games of the year, he is 3-7-1. He is only completing 58% of his throws, 2,541 yards, 16 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. And his touchdown to turnover ratio, total turnovers, because he also has 4 fumbles lost. It is 16 to 19. He still has more total turnovers than touchdowns. Why do you think I do not give him praise? Why does everyone have to? I just listed the facts. These are facts. These are his stats. This is ProFootballReference.com. This is the most reliable source when it comes to football stats. And if you don't believe this, and if you're still giving him praise, either you're a delusional Eagles fan, you are a simp for Carson Wentz, or you obviously have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to the world of sports, because it's mind-boggling to me that someone could think this way.